Hey, everybody, welcome back to Liberty Warrior Nation Network. I am Tammy Nation here to host the show this evening as LW is still out and about for work in the eastern part of the country. He's dug in the snow deep, that's for sure. I also have the one, the only Jeff B backstage waiting to come on as well, you guys. We have a lot to cover like we always do when it comes to the show. Each and every day, you just never know what's going to happen. I want to put prayers out to all of you that are dealing with the storm, the residuals of the storm still with maybe no power and, damage to the house, broken trees. I didn't know what exploding trees was until I heard it and saw it on video. Thank the good Lord, we kept power and stuff. But I'm ready to do the show tonight with Jeff B. It's good to have the distraction. It's good to catch up with you guys. I've missed you guys a lot. Thanks again for all the love and prayers sent my way to my family and my husband. I will tell you he is not out of the woods yet, but he did tell me tonight he was going to take a nap, go ahead and do a show, enjoy yourself. And that was nice to hear him say, but he's still got a lot of fences to jump, let's just say. But in the meantime, we're going to get this show started in a moment. Like I said, Jeff B's backstage. We've got to talk about the storm that is coming. We're going to talk about the Clintons, what is to come next. Trump and Iran, that's a pretty hot potato that's just breaking today as well. Jeff B's got the latest on all of that. Hey, and guess who visited my neck of the woods today? It was the FBI in Fulton County. We wonder what that's about. We'll be telling you about that as well. So I will be right back with the Jeff B right after this. Hey, Jeff B, welcome back this Wednesday, January 28th, 2026. How are you doing this evening?
I think hell just froze over here.
I think a couple times. I think I've been living through hell the last few months, or month and a half, I should say. But anyhow, it's good to have you here. I'm really happy that we're able to do a show tonight, that you had the time to do it. It's been a while. So as far as the storm, I think that's a good place for us to start. How did you guys do through the first storm that went through?
I think we got like 13 or 14 inches. So, uh, we normally don't get that much. We're a little bit south of the lake effect, but it dumped on us pretty good.
Yeah, well, we were kind of lucky here too because it was headed straight for us with ice. And ice in Georgia is not a good thing. I know people laugh at it, but the fact is we don't have any salt or equipment to remove the ice. So it's basically like trying to drive your vehicle on an inch, half inch of black ice. You can't do that. I know when I lived in Michigan, and for you in Ohio too, if you get black ice, you got to chip that stuff off the windows and the doors sometimes. And, there's usually snow, slush, or something that can give you some traction. But here in Georgia, we don't have that. So I know there's a lot of people, unfortunately, that are still out of power. Some of our viewers are probably out as well. So, thoughts and prayers go out to them as well. Hit Gal saying in Kentucky, the central part, they still have ice. And we know that a lot of the temperatures, Jeff, haven't heated up enough to even melt what people already have in what they're dealing with. So they're basically staying in the deep freeze.
Right. Yeah. It's going to stay pretty. I think we're going to hit in the next 7 or 8 days above freezing once, but then we got another snowstorm coming in this way as well.
Well, I saw that it's, I think through Saturday or Sunday and Monday, it is February. I think this the first few days of February is when it's supposed to, another store is coming right along that East Coast. But the thing is, it's not just the thin strip along the East Coast. I mean, it's going as far in west as like Ohio, part of Michigan, all the way up into Halifax and Maine. And I'm going to tell you, LW flew out and he made it to where his destination was, but they did ground all the flights like the next day where he was headed. And unfortunately, unfortunately, he's going to be in the heart of the second one that's coming through. And the 6 to 10 day outlook for it is a lot more ice. I mean, it is all the way from Columbus, all the way south of Jackson, Florida, all the way far as north as Boston, where it's supposed to be more rain and ice and sleet and all that. The south actually is supposed to be frigid and have like single digit temperatures. And what's ironic, Jeff, is all along the outskirts of Columbus and Nashville to the west, that's all going to be extremely hot. So, you know, LW lives in Idaho. If he would have stayed home, he would be in the deep heat because all those temps out that away are above normal. And I keep telling him, it's your fault. All this is your fault. You came east for the first time in your life, and look what we're dealing with.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely definitely going to be a cold one.
Yeah, well, we have to give kudos to the linemen and the workers out there trying to get the power back on. Nashville got hit really, really hard in parts as well. And there's still, like I said, there's a lot of people that are still out of power, unfortunately. And when the second one comes through, I mean, I know today's Wednesday, but when it comes through Sunday night and Monday, it could just reissue and cause a lot more damage to what's already in trouble. So it's weird to me that this is coming like it is. And is it me, or did you notice we didn't have any hurricanes in October? Doesn't it start hurricane season in October or something? That we had those two that were headed towards the East Coast, and the one was going to drive it right into the East Coast, and the next thing you know, it turned and it spun it away. So we didn't even have hurricanes.
Right. Yeah, it seems like maybe the weather manipulation conspiracy maybe maybe coming true if the somebody turned the switch off.
Yeah, that would be nice, because I was telling you just before we got on here that whatever that thing was that I had, the flu they're calling it or whatever, I still have a bit of a cough. Oh my gosh, we have a stranger in the background. But anyways, I still have it. So I think it's to weather manipulation. But I agree with you. So I'm going to let this stranger in, you guys. You can put a 1 if you want me to keep them. And if you don't want me to keep them, put a 0. Here we go. Hey, how's it going?
Well, the big Buddha freeze is here.
Where you're at, yeah.
Are you in an ice detainment facility?
Yeah, you know, I heard if you get hurt, just put a little ice on it.
You know, he really does look like he's undercover somewhere. This is kind of concerning.
Yeah, I'm in Vermont right now.
Wow.
And so I flew in to New Jersey on Saturday, and it started snowing. I woke up Sunday morning. We had 24 inches of snow in less than 24 hours. We had 2 feet of snow. We spent most of Monday shoveling out and digging out. It was pretty wild.
That's crazy. I'm blaming it on you because this is historical and record-setting, LW. And I was just saying before you got on, I was telling Jeff, with this second round that's coming, it's going to cover completely where you're at if you're going to be there on Sunday and Monday. But the ironic thing is, in Idaho, it's going to be warmer than usual. So your family is going to be nice and cozy and warm at Idaho while you freeze your, you know what, off.
Yeah. Just part of the game. We're heading back to New Jersey Saturday, and then we might be heading to PA, I think, Monday morning. So,
okay. Well, we'll keep you in your thoughts and prayers and stuff, because it's been crazy. It has been absolutely crazy with the weather. So anyhow, I'm glad you could join us. We want to start first up. You got a few minutes to say, or did you just want to stay high and then pop back out? You got stuff to do.
I got all night, Tammy. All night.
Oh no, he's here all damn night. Oh shit.
we thought you were bouncing in and bouncing out.
I know, and I'm like, oh,
I'm in a hotel in Vermont and bored out of my mind. So
good.
Maybe you could go hunt down Bernie Sanders.
You know what? I would have dinner and drinks with Bernie Sanders. That's for sure.
That'd be awesome.
Ask him how to be a millionaire in like 3 months, and I guarantee you he has the answer.
Well, he'd say, run for office.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That's the thing. Maybe that's what we all should do is just run for office, and then we'd be all set. You know?
That's my retirement plan.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Well, for the people, I didn't talk about it yet, but Jeff was excited. You guys, if you notice, there's a QR code up there in the left corner, and that is for the merchandise store, which Jeff is thrilled to have, and LW was thrilled to find because he didn't know how to do it at first, and then he figured it out, and he was so happy. So if you guys just want to use that QR code for the store, you can do that, and we got this little scroll at the bottom here, too, for the website.
Jeff, I figured this out right before I got on the plane. Tammy and I had a meeting, and I figured it out, and this is what you've been asking for months now, and I finally figured it out, and it was right there in front of me the whole damn time.
Nice.
That's so funny. Yeah, Kathy, I'll email the code after, or if LW can. Well, he can't because he's on his phone.
Can't
so
do squat
we'll
right
do it. We're going to do it after. We'll take care of it. And Ziggy says, I ordered a shirt already. That's pretty darn cool as well. And I have the shirt on. It's an older one. It's a hoodie. It's the Ladies of Liberty sweatshirt. So this is very comfy. I love it. And like I said, I can still fit into it because I got it extra big because I like big sweatshirts. So you guys, there's a lot of new stuff in the store. Jeff was working on the store today because I did have a couple emails and questions about what was going on because the store was down. Tammy Jackson was one of them that I remember. But Jeff, you just had to do an update, right?
Yeah, we're installing a new version of Ajax,
which is
it's a back-end programming language that we use throughout the warehouse. So when somebody orders something, it sends it to the Twix printers and then removes stuff from inventory. It's a bunch of technical BS.
okay.
But it didn't go off like planned. So we had it on the Sandbox, which is a test server, and it worked fine. And as soon as we moved it to production,
It went off the rails.
Yeah, but everything's back up and running now. So
well, that's good news because I did have a couple people ask, so you can go ahead and order if you guys want to order. So I guess we should get the show started, and I thought we'll start off with the easy stuff today because we're going to get into the meat of Iran and Trump at the end of the show because that is heating up really fast. And the first thing is, remember, it's the refresher about the Clintons because they were found in criminal contempt of Congress, right? So the charges were moving forward. It's supposed to go to the House for votes to refer the Clintons to the DOJ and see if they're going to prosecute. So we did talk about this before, but my question is for Jeff, when is the date? What takes so long? Because I researched this today and I couldn't find anything that is updated. Everything's from 7 days ago and there is no update or timeline on the vote or anything that's happening. Do you know anything?
No, I asked that this morning when I was talking to one of the marshals who work with one of the courts down there, and he was like, dude, everybody in DC is so dumbfounded by this whole thing because if it was the other side of the aisle, they'd already been in handcuffs.
Yeah, a long time ago. And the other question I have is if they do get convicted, I mean, it carries up to $100,000 fine and a year behind bars. And I said before, I want way more than that. I think LW and everybody else does as well. Is there any more that they can charge them with to keep them longer than that? Because this is a lot of wasted time, energy, and effort for $100,000 fine and a year behind bars.
Well, that's just for contempt of Congress. Who knows what, other stuff that they have on them. And as we can see from today, some of the sealed indictments are starting to crack open. So,
yeah. Well, I think that everybody wants to see, and that's part of the title tonight. Are we going to have to order some more handcuffs? Because breaking in Georgia today, this is the big story. I don't know if you saw this or not, LW, but the FBI was here in Fulton County, actually in Union City, which is about 10 or 15 minutes away from me, and they were serving up a warrant in their election office today. Now, this election office just opened in 2023, and it was supposed to be so they can streamline the voting. But it's been all over the news down here. They've showed video, and there were box trucks there that saying they were going to take the ballots out, up to 700 boxes of ballots. And this is interesting to me that the executed warrant is basically sealed. So down here, they're spinning it like we don't know why they're here. So,
Well,
what's your thoughts, LW?
I hope for the best as always, but still very concerned citizen. And I feel like there are a lot of people out there still trying to move in the right direction and clean a lot of this up. But, here it is 2026 and midterms are just a few months away. And we're going to get to some of this later in the show. We'll talk about Iran, but I still feel like there's a lot of support being lost right now because of the Epstein files, because of the Clintons and other things that are not as far along as a lot of us would like to see. And I'm not saying that it's not happening. And yes, of course, it's not happening fast enough for any of us, really. But man, I tell you what, I'm still very, very concerned about the outcome of midterms for 2026, and I'm concerned about the outcome of Clinton's and any and everything else that's going on right now. Because I sent you a video right before you went live tonight, and there are so many just normal, everyday Americans, MAGA, whatever you want to call them, that still feel like, hey, man, we've taken a wrong turn. And I'm going to talk about that tonight.
Jeff, what do you think? Why would you think, for one, that it's a sealed a warrant and they don't want any of it out? When I'm going to tell you here, Voter Georgia is it's like a website and a group of people that are for election integrity. And Garland Favorito is one of the guys that basically pushed forth on Fulton County and Georgia in general about election integrity. He is an expert on the machines and whatnot. And they're giving him a lot of credit for this coming true fruition with the FBI in Fulton County, because him and his people pushed so hard on this and had so much evidence. But my thing is, what do you think this is all about, in your opinion, in the sealed, like I said, the sealed served warrant?
Well, I think this is the end result of Nicolas Maduro flipping. Nicolas Maduro having a phone call with Trump, allegedly. And now that they have him where they want him, they probably have a little video testimonial from him so they can put this dude in the closet. Because I find it kind of ironic that they get him, the one of the executives from Dominion, testified in federal court under oath and said that he has proof and he's willing to give it to the government that they've been rigging him for years.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
And so I think, well, with this warrant, my understanding from somebody that I had talked to is they sealed it. They went to the magistrate. They told explained to the DOJ attorney, explained to the magistrate that if we put X, Y, and Z into this warrant, they're worried about leaks because it's going to come out here, I'm guessing shortly, that this signal application was used during the election as well. That's why you have Signal coming up in the news now with these protesters. You're going to see
So
the
okay,
same thing.
but hold on, Jeff. So the whole signal thing is more than just the protesters. So the signal deal is also linked to certain shooters in certain
Hmm.
cases across America. Now I've been part of Signal too, and what Signal is it's Discord. It's a Discord app.
Correct.
It's no different than a lot of different like texting apps. It's mostly used for gamers. It's encrypted, but they are starting to link that to a lot of stuff that we've brought up on this show for a lot of well, for the last couple of years at least.
Well, a lot of federal law enforcement use it for peer-to-peer communication,
Yeah.
and you know, people think that it's secure. Well, NSA loves having those programmers on payroll. So
Yeah, they can get any of it.
sure,
Yeah, and they're even linking it to federal agencies talking to citizens linked to these shooters.
correct.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and this one guy that was just shot, he was one of these administrators in one of these channels that's coming under fire by the feds.
Jeff, let me ask you this question. Is Signal also one of those apps that's also been recognized through federal agencies under Christine Noem's hand? Where remember we talked about this a while back, where they were having all kinds of sexual, um, I don't even
Yeah.
parties,
Yeah.
conversations. I know Tammy had reported on it for a while too. But isn't this like in the same reach?
Yeah, well, there's two. You have the public version of Signal, and then you have the government version of Signal that has uh, all kinds of encryption that NSA rolls out. But yeah, that's one of the things that you remember down during the Obama administration when the Secret Service agents down in Colombia got caught with all the
Yep.
strippers, and well, that's how that was found out, was through Signal.
Not good.
No.
Also, I was going to say that, this raid that came down here today is only a week after Trump was speaking at Davos. And if you guys remember, Trump was saying that 2020 was rigged, a rigged election. He said it on the worldwide stage
Yeah.
at Davos. And he also asked Georgia State Court for, what was it? A little over $6 million in legal fees he spent for fighting those criminal charges of election interference from Fannie Willis. And so this is kind of interesting that this is coming down so fast. Trump also did say at Davos as well. He said that people are going to soon be prosecuted for what they did.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's why you have some of these world leaders in a panic mode, because I think they got shown it. They got shown what's the proof. And just like with Tim Waltz, they supposedly, him and Trump had this conversation where Tim Waltz capitulated, and now they're running backwater saying, no, I never talked to Trump. Yeah, I bet you did, because now I think you're worried about you're going to share a cell with Belinda, and Belinda's not a woman.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in a few, but definitely I want to know if you guys have any confidence in the chat too as well. I want to know if anybody has, with this recent move in Fulton County, if we're going to be like the example of the election fraud and coming to fruition. I thought it would be Arizona would be the exposure with Tina Peters and all that, and that she's going through. But I want to know if you guys feel any faith in this, or do you think this is just more distraction and really nothing's going to come of it, because I'm optimistic, because I know how nasty it is here. I know how a lot of people are still trying to get people to get out there and vote come midterms. And what LW said is true. We're getting closer and closer. We talked before on this show about how once 2026 hit, a lot of them are going to be campaigning, and Trump is already endorsing people and on the campaign trail again. So is everybody going to be distracted? And it's like, basically, we just want people to get out there and vote, but nothing's changed. So my hope is, with this is going to be the straw that broke the camel's back. They're going to find out it was all fraud, and maybe there won't be midterms. And that's what I think. Let's see what the chat thinks. And then LW, why don't you go first in what you have to say?
I'll let Jeff go first.
Okay. He's still boss controlling the show from far, far away. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I find it very hard to believe that there's going to be a midterm. And the reason I say that is because Trump keeps talking about, this national order and I've told it's going to center around the elections and the voter rolls, and there's just not enough time. And, you got Congress that goes up for a vote to shut down the government or fund the government again. The hang-up's going to be ICE. So I look for another government shutdown. Navy Federal is put up on their website, basically, here we go again.
Wow.
We're going to be in a shutdown. And the Supreme Court handed down 3 opinions today that supported Trump, but they're not touching the tariffs. They don't want to hear anything right now with the tariffs, and I think that has a lot to do with the incoming financial crisis, that when JP Morgan and Jamie Dimon get called on the silver and they can't produce it, and Trump's going to be funding the government with tariffs, because the Congress is, I'm guessing, is probably going to get shut down again.
LW?
Well, here's my thought. I think anything's possible. Of course, I hope for the best. But as a concerned citizen, I feel like there's just the carrot dangled in front of us so that we keep moving in the direction that they want us to move. And they keep telling us the shit that we want to hear to keep us all at bay. And again, I'm going to talk about this later in the show, about the support that he's losing right now, and a lot of people losing faith. And I know the chat's probably going to go wild and say, "Oh, I'm staying the course, and I'm going to stay on the battlefield." Blah blah blah. I get that, but I am now on the East Coast of America, and I can tell you that there are a lot of supporters here, but they have the same questions I have. They have the same concerns I have. They're feeling the same way. So unless words take action, because words are just words. It's just bullshit fucking talk. And unless things really start happening, people start getting arrested, election integrity starts becoming a number one priority, and it actually starts happening, it's just talk. And so I'm in the camp of, I'm still going to wait, not holding my breath. Yes, I believe things can happen, but if they don't, I'm sorry, Jeff, and you guys can believe what you want, but if midterms get here, I'm going to tell you right now, we get to October and we still have the same problems that we have today, which is what, January 28th, something like that. We're screwed, and there ain't no coming out of that.
Yeah. Well, okay, so let's talk about, since you brought it up, about money and election and all this stuff, because something's going on, because silver is now at like 100 and some,
over $100. So it was 118 earlier today, Tammy. 118 an ounce. Okay, when we first started selling silver at Miles Franklin, I was just talking to the guys about this today. It has gone up $100 an ounce since we first started selling silver on LWN. So anyone who's bought silver back then, holy shnikes, they have made some freaking money right now. And so the group of guys I hang out with, they play around with the stock market. They're in the know too, like I am. And I'm telling you right now, when we first started this and they said silver could hit $500 to $700 an ounce, I'm in the camp of believing that shit right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, gold was at 5,400 an ounce.
Yes,
Now it's up to
almost
50
$5,500
in 1
an
hour.
ounce.
In 1 hour. So,
Yes.
okay, so this is why I'm bringing this up for you and Jeff, because
It telegraphs to me. This is my own opinion.
Okay.
And I'll let Jeff talk on this, but it telegraphs to me that I feel like there's something, like there's a storm coming, and it's not the storm that everybody thought was coming. I think it's something, in my opinion, is not going to be good for the economy, and it's going to be a bad fucking storm.
Okay, Jeff. Okay, I'm going to let Jeff talk next, but I want to also bring up, this ties into this, because President Trump just today or yesterday was just talking about the investment for children in the future, putting $1,000 in parents. Then Bank of America said for their, okay, so they do that. But my thing is, if all the dollars good, money's good, and yet some people are saying it's going to bottom out and we're only going to have gold and silver. Some people say it's going to be all digital and Bitcoin and stuff. And yet Trump's putting out there about the dollar, like $1,000 for these kids' futures, acting as if the American dollar is going to stay there. So it's very confusing to me. Jeff?
Well, I think what you are in the process of seeing is the collapse of the Federal Reserve. I think
Let's hope so. I hope I feel that that's coming too, Jeff. And I hope we're absolutely correct on that. That needs to go away. And a lot of people have said, you'll see comments in there, oh, the Federal Reserve has been gone for a long time. No, it's not. It has not been gone yet. It could be on its way out, but it's still there.
Yeah, I mean it's still there, but operationally, there's a lot of things over at FinCEN at Treasury that have changed.
Yes.
That people don't.
I think it's going bye-bye. And I think it's going to start
is.
going and funding the Treasury like it's supposed to, but it's still there at the moment. And
Correct.
I think you're right. I think we're seeing it die right in front of us.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think this is why you have the metals that are going up, the dollar's starting to go down. You have these stories of Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan where they can't produce the silver. And I do believe that once this happens, and this is why I believe that the Supreme Court isn't touching anything to deal with tariffs or the Treasury, is because that is how the government's going to be funded. I believe that they have been moving money on line items out of, you could call it the Federal Reserve, and moving it over into Treasury, because, no one gave Trump any backlash over, the 1776 payments to the military. But we're going to hit a collapse, and you can tell just in the business market. Companies that own real estate, like shopping plazas. In this area, there's quite a few that are emptying out because people can't afford it, because people don't have the disposable income right now.
Yeah, and I'm still saying, Trump is talking about a great jobs market and all of that. I really, unfortunately, am not seeing that. And I know that he's brought a lot of businesses here, or they're coming here, but they still have to build the buildings and create the jobs. And that's going to be a ways out. I don't see.
Yeah, that could be past his presidency, Tammy.
Yeah.
See, so what people don't understand, and I'm talking to everybody listening tonight and everybody watching this later. When Trump brings back manufacturing to America, I am 100% behind that. I work in that industry, and I'm telling you right now, you don't just bring it back and then 2 weeks later that business is up and running in America and is supplying 600 jobs in Michigan. It doesn't happen that fast. You have to go through planning. First, you got to find the property to buy. Then you got to go through planning and zoning. Then you've got to go through the design stage. Then you've got to go through the engineering, and then you got to go into the building and the construction of that business. Can they go in and buy old factories and refurbish them to save time? Not necessarily. It's almost faster and cheaper to tear it down and rebuild it. What I'm telling you is it could take 2-3 years to build something before it's actually operational. And by that time, Trump's out. So who takes his place after Trump's out? Could it be JD Vance? Sure. Could it be somebody else? God, let's hope not. But yeah, it's not as quick as people think.
Jeff.
Well, yeah, and you're 100% right on that, and this is why I believe that something, whether people believe Trump's going to serve another term, I don't know. Um,
A
but
lot of talk about that, Jeff. A lot of
I
talk
mean,
about it.
he's coming out and he's saying it. I may
Yeah.
run again. You know, a lot of people said he was crazy over Greenland. Oops, looks like that happened. You know, so is he going to be mentally capable enough, physically enough to serve another term? But if not, if this is all bullshit, in 3 more years, everything that he did just got shut down if the other side of the party wins.
If the other side of the party wins, they're gonna
Oh,
go
what's
back through
through?
and erase everything that he's done this term, just like last time. And that's what happens every presidential election, especially if you don't get 8 years consecutively. Like they can go in there and mess up everything that you've accomplished, and that is a concern of mine. Tammy, what do you think?
I think that's why I don't understand how can the two parties that are supposedly representatives of America and the people, I don't see that many people that separated with the thoughts that these representatives are, the Republicans versus the Democrats. I mean, they are completely apart in what their beliefs are. There's no unity. It's like hard to come to a deal that is good for all of America, I think. So, how did this happen and why is what I'm asking. And why do they seem to just, so one side seems to hate America and the people so much, and they just care about the other countries. We've talked about this. You don't hear a lot of the Dems saying America first. They're saying that, ICE is bad, ICE is doing bad things, that we like the illegals. In Minnesota, the governors and mayors both are saying that we're not going to listen to federal orders. I mean, why are they trying so hard? You have to ask yourself, as a citizen of the United States of America, why the Dems have the beliefs that they have. Like, how did we get so far apart? Because at one time, the Dems didn't believe that way. So I think it's almost impossible to meet in the middle with Republicans and Democrats anymore. I don't even know that there should be those parties anymore. It should just be pro-America or not for America. I mean, the working person or not the working person, because it is right. There's always so much talk right before an election and an appeal to certain groups of people and promises made that are just never kept. So I don't have much faith in any of them anymore.
Well, I think I've been saying this for 7 years, 8 years now. I think we are on the cusp of the constitutional crisis because everybody knows these congressional members are dirty as hell. Every one of them,
Oh, all of them.
in one shape, form, or fashion. Just look at this absolute clown that's been all over the airwaves today. That's Ileana Omar.
Oh,
Oh,
she's our
geez.
topic next. So good lead in, Jeff.
This idiot
Oh boy.
You gained $30 million in your little stint with your goddamn hijab and your all your light bulb heads that you have surrounding you. I mean, they had a press conference today that looked like fucking little Baghdad. I mean, it's nuts, you know. And these people are talking about. I mean, it was nuts. I mean, the eyeballs on these fucking people were crazy. They all had to have been
Crazy
playing
eyes.
coke or something. I don't know, but they were talking about this 5-year-old boy that got quote unquote kidnapped by ICE.
Mm-hmm. That was so false. None of it was
No,
true.
the kid didn't get kidnapped. The dad ran off. The mother didn't want him, so ICE took him into protective custody, and now they're all sitting up there with these fucking signs saying "Free this kid."
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
They're twisting everything. It's
Yes.
incredible. It's
and
incredible.
it's amazing to me that within 24 hours of the FBI taking one of their Fleet 757s, dispatching a shitload of agents to Minneapolis, that all this stuff, I mean, just look at, God, I hope you have the, please tell me you have the clip of her getting sprayed.
Oh, we got to talk about no clips. LW said no clips
Okay.
and none of that. I did have it, but we can't do that for now. We got to
Yeah,
find
we
out
keep
why we're
getting
getting.
copyrighted on crap.
Yeah,
Okay.
but okay, so if you want to go ahead and talk about the clip, you can. Otherwise, I have it and her precious words about what went on. And I have questions for you and LW and the chat. I think it was a bunch of honking horse, as LW always says, it was horse shit what happened there.
Look, all right. Now
It was
this
staged.
is
That was
oh,
100%
so
staged.
that's exactly where I was going to go with this. There is no doubt in my mind because look, all right, if I'm mentally unstable, which it's been claimed that I am.
All of us at one time or another
We're in the
joined the
same boat.
club.
Right. If I'm going to attack a congressional member and I'm going to spray something and I know what the consequences of this is going to be, uh, that broad's getting hit in the face with something. Not just, and if you slow the video down and watch her, she kind of looks off and like half-ass nods to this person because you got to get rid of this snowball story that is going to probably put you in handcuffs. And I know a lot of people are waiting and waiting and waiting for these handcuffs. All right. When I was at the bureau, I wasn't the guy that went out and did the arresting. I did all the intelligence work behind the scenes that led them to go to a federal magistrate with enough evidence to secure a warrant. But I know how these guys work. And when we see the very first arrest, whether it's the big one or not, you are going to see a lot of arrests at the same time. And I think all of this groundwork, you know, Minnesota's one, Ohio is going to be one because they flew in two of the Lear jets in Akron Canton Airport yesterday, and they're sitting at the FBI hangar. So they brought in some heavy hitters into Ohio. So I think a lot of this, and maybe if and when the government shuts down again, because every time that, you know, they've been shutting this government down, all these scandals pop up, all this fraud pops up mysteriously again.
Well, also,
So let
go
me
ahead.
ask Jeff and Tammy this. And Jeff, this is my theory. If you want to win the midterms this November, and you've already got your asses kicked in 2024 with MAGA, don't you feel like, and this is a theory of mine, that you have to create heroes, right? You have to
Yeah.
create heroes that people can get behind. Why I say this looks staged today is because it did look staged, and now they want communist and they want this Islamic bullshit in this country. They have to make those people look like heroes. Like you saw her kind of chase this guy off the stage like she's some kind of Avenger, right?
Yeah.
Like she's some kind of Marvel comic hero. Horseshit. But you have to make these people look like they're invincible and they're strong and they're tough, because Trump was this for us for the last 8 years plus. He took a shot to the ear and kept and stood up and said fight, fight, fight. So it's my theory that they're staging this on purpose to enact something that makes them look like a hero or a heroine, and that's going to get their base behind them and get them driving forward for midterms. That's just my thought.
Well, I will say, watching it, I immediately thought it was staged because when she got sprayed with, it was, remember, nobody knows what kind of liquid that was. She did not back up
I
and
wish it
go
was
to
skunk piss, because that smelled real good.
That'd have been a good one. But she didn't back up and go to defend herself. You know what she did? She leaned forward and had her fist up, ready to fisticuff with the dude.
Like I
And
said, she looked like a hero, right?
yes,
She
she
looked
did.
like a
So
Marvel comic hero.
yes, very, and that's a good point too, because she also, think about this. She
And this
kept
is a
saying,
weak woman. This is a weak,
yes,
pathetic
she's not.
person.
Yes.
Most of them are not going to go fisticuff with anyone. Are you shitting me, Pyle?
Especially,
Like,
right.
not happening.
Especially when you don't know what that chemical was or that liquid was. Not
Yeah.
only that, how about this? They didn't take her to the hospital or take her to get
Right.
looked at. And she just kept talking like nothing happened.
Yeah.
What is that about?
It's
They
bullshit.
didn't know. Yeah. So it's going to, and I think that the theory that you just put out there is pretty good, because Hakeem Jeffries is out there saying that there's, because she was talking about Kristi Noem needs to resign immediately. And if she doesn't, she's going to face impeachment. So there's that word that they like to use and use against everybody. So they want Kristi Noem out because
If we
she's
don't win the midterms, that's all 2026 to 2028 is going to be.
going to be.
Is going to be impeachment of Trump and all his supporters. That's all 20. That's all 2 years is going to be. It's going to be horrible.
Well, I agree with you, Mike, but the way I look at this is Trump knows this, right?
Yep. Yeah, it does.
You know
Yeah.
who else? You know who else knows it? The military generals and admirals that asked him to run. And you know what's very interesting? That when that warrant was executed in Fulton County, guess whose names come up? Sidney Powell,
Oh,
Linwood,
Kraken and her gang.
and General Flynn and Ellis. Remember Jenna Ellis, that they had such
yeah.
a riff? Her and Trump had such a riff? I
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that was all bullshit. I really do now, because now
Wow.
somebody had told me at the Marshal Service that all of a sudden these fucking people got put under U.S. Marshal protection.
Wow. Well, remember, that's interesting if they did, but also remember, Jenna Ellis came out and apologized and made a deal so she
Yeah.
wouldn't get. She said, "I retract everything that I said. It was all not true." Blah blah blah. So she really got beat up by a lot of people because she's backstabbed him. And Linwood has been very quiet. He's been posting stuff about his farm, his cotton, whatever it's called, and
Mhm.
little different things. But for a while there, he was posting his dogs, and this was very funny. I watched him for a long time doing this, and the dog's tail would be pointing to somebody, and when they pointed to somebody, that meant that they're gone, that they took care of them. But that's conspiracy, right? He
Mhm.
stopped doing that for a while.
Well,
But
yeah, and if you guys remember when Trump was on the campaign trail, for his second term. And everybody laughed it off and thought Trump was talking about the old jab. You know, Trump said, Joe Biden, yeah, he ain't going to be around. He got the shot. And everybody thought he meant the old jab, but I think he was referring to something else. And you know, I want to see it myself. I mean, I've had a couple pictures that was sent to me, and it's hard to tell whether it's fake or not. And this is before the whole AI thing really took off. Um, you know, but a lot of stuff is lining up, and Trump's, he's in that campaign mode again, where he's got to tell everybody how great he is. Which
Yep.
sometimes I wish he would, shut the hell up. And but I don't know. I think we're really, really on the cusp of it, and I look here within the next 30 days, we're going to have somebody in cuffs.
Well, I wonder who that's going to be, because we keep trying to figure out who it's going to be, I hope so. But that's why I put in there, do we need to order more handcuffs? Because we've got all this going on in Minneapolis. We've got this coming around in Georgia now as well. And I want to get to Minneapolis here because Trump sent in Tom Homan to Minneapolis. Okay. Now, Homan had conversations with Governor Walz and Mayor Fry. Trump also claims he got a call from Walz. Both him and Homan are saying these calls went well. They were on maybe the same page, kind of saw eye to eye that they want the criminals out, blah, 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 blah. So it was like a little love fest over the last day or so, right? But what happened was, it wasn't long after that, is when Walz came out and said, we are not going to, and even I think Mayor Fry said it, we are not going to, and we will not enforce immigration laws. So they have this kumbaya together. And Trump got PO'd about this. And he said, after this call, what was he doing saying that they're not going to listen to the orders, the federal orders? He said he's messing with fire. So it went from kumbaya, because all the chaos that's been causing there, to now all of a sudden Trump's PO'd at him again. And they have to listen to that order, federal orders with what they need to do with these criminals. And both the mayor and governor don't want to do it. So what's really going on?
Well, I mean, you had a federal judge come out and reinforce the order. I think it was either yesterday or earlier today that said, yeah, it's the federal law supersedes state law. And I really wish that this administration would have some better messaging, because you know they are not. Let's take this guy that was just shot and killed. Okay, he had a gun on him. He had a permit. But if you look up the requirements of that permit in Wisconsin, the moment he didn't give his ID and the moment he did any type of resistance, that permit is null and void.
Yep.
Okay. And now you're starting to hear, normally when these stories come out, you have to give it 24 to 48 hours for some of the truth to start shaking, to shake out. And, it's sad that there's a loss of life.
You are required by law. It is by law. So all these people that are painting this beautiful picture of this guy having angel wings and he's a woman protector, you are required by law, if you have a concealed to carry permit, to announce that to law enforcement, period. And he did not. So he broke the law right there, which that's what Jeff is talking about, made that concealed carry null and void, which means now he's illegal.
Yeah, and it's sad that there's a loss of life, but
Yeah.
the ICE didn't put these people in this position. you put yourself in this position, and whether you're being paid to do so, whether you have a mental instability, or whether you're just brainwashed, uh, that is the duty of ICE. And there's a mandate that came down when Trump was sworn in that we're get you, but no one wants to talk about all the people that Obama supposedly deported.
Oh yeah, but don't forget he gave Tom Homan award or a medal or
Right.
something for the great job that he did
Correct.
deporting people.
Yeah, and now he's the villain.
Yeah.
And the other guy is a villain. And you know, going back to Christy Nome, where they won her impeached, um, you know, a lot of times in federal government and just knowing people at different agencies, normally the department heads, they don't really know the job.
Mm-hmm.
They are there to manage people that know the job.
Yeah. Well, what United We Stand has saying up here, he said Trump's talking with Waltz. Tim, we have a federal indictment we'll be filing next week. Would you like a plea deal?
Hey, look, there's a reason why the FBI showed up with so many agents and so many DOJ attorneys, because I
Up,
believe that
there's
they
a lot of
brought.
static or something. Is that just me, or is that? Can
Yeah,
you hear that?
I was getting a little bit of it as well.
Okay, good. You're good now.
Okay, I believe that they went in there. The DOJ attorneys went in there and showed these people what they got on them, and uh, and here's your opportunity.
Okay.
Yes, you're either going to step down or you're not going to run again, and we want the person who's instructing you to do this, because you're not smart enough to do this on your own. You don't have the financing to do this on your own. So who in the hell's telling you, I'll give you 30 minutes, they walk out of the room, come back in, whether they have legal counsel or not. And I think it's going to be on like Donkey Kong for these idiots.
Yeah. Well, I want to know what you guys think, UNLW and the audience listening now, and even later you can put it in the comment section. But Bannon came out and he's been all over this, talking to Stephen Miller, saying regarding ICE agents and no backup. He said you can't send out 3,000 ICE agents and not have a whole government approach. He said you have to have the DOJ, you have to have tiger teams of prosecutors. Where's the FBI? Where's the Department of War? He said you can't let them be surrounded by domestic violent terrorists all the time. And he said with no DOJ, FBI, and no basically backup. He said no Insurrection Act, nothing. And then he said you've got Pam Bondi, which you guys, Pam Bondi, of course, this is something she would do. She wrote a strongly worded letter. I mean, that's what she did. She wrote a letter, and that was it. But I will say Pam Bondi is there now with Assistant DA Harmit Dillon, and they're going to have a presser tomorrow with Tom Homan so we can see what they have to say. But do you both agree, and do the audience agree, do we need all this backup? Do we need the DOJ, the FBI, Department of War, the Insurrection Act, and all that? Should we pull the trigger on all that? LW or Jeff?
Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I think you're going to have to, because the American people are going to have to be shown an example. You know, the, and this goes back to where I wish there was better messaging on this, because these idiots, and you had Tommy Tupperville come out and say, "No, we need to get rid of ICE." Okay, well, you're probably about ready to be exposed next. Uh, but you are going to have better messaging, because look, if an ICE agent comes up to you, any law enforcement, and say, hey, give me your ID. And granted, a lot of it has to do with how the agent or the officer approaches the person. You know, some of them are egotistical, some of them are just assholes. I've worked on all spectrums of these guys. Uh, you know, and I that's a training issue. But guess what? If you have nothing to worry about, um, you know, show them your ID. Who cares? Here, run me. You know, if you have warrant, 90% of the time, when somebody doesn't want to show their ID, they know they got something on them, or they're a YouTube constitutional lawyer. You know, they watched all these videos where I don't have to do this and I don't have to do that. Well, if you're not guilty of shit, you don't have nothing to worry about.
I agree because you know, the guilty like to stay in the dark. So LW, what do you think?
I don't have a lot to say about that. I'm just trying to catch up on chat. I finally figured
Okay.
out how to. I
Oh,
finally
good.
figured
Okay.
out how to look at chat. So
He loves new things. Oh, well, United We Stand said his mic rubbing his beard on his mic because that's what they're thinking that is. All
Well,
right. Go ahead, Jeff.
yeah, before I forget this,
Yeah.
so they had a press conference down in Texas. I don't know
Okay.
if you've seen that or not, and it had that Jasmine Crockett and I don't know. I've asked a couple people to listen to it, and I swear to God, it was Alex Jones in the audience heckling these guys. It's on a megaphone, and it sounded like Alex Jones, and these people wanted to melt down over this, but they knew they couldn't because if they tried to take that person out, you know, they would, oh, you're the one squashing speech. But it was pretty hilarious every time they said something. Like I said, it sounded like Alex Jones out there just ripping them apart.
Well, it's hard to misunderstand his voice. It's very unique for sure. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
all right. So I think that we should move to the last topic before we see if there's anything that Jeff or LW wants to add at the end of the show is President Trump in Iran. So I'm just going to read his post that he put on X. And then you and LW can give more details and more understanding to this and talk about it. And with the audience, like I said, if they have comments, then we can put them up on the screen as well. But he said a massive armada is heading to Iran. It's moving quickly with great power, enthusiasm, and purpose. It is a larger fleet headed by the great aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln than that was sent to Venezuela. Like with Venezuela, it is ready, willing, and able to rapidly fulfill its mission with speed and violence if necessary. Hopefully, Iran will quickly come to the table and negotiate a fair and equitable deal. No nuclear weapons, all in capitalization, and one that is good for all parties. Time is running out. It is truly of the essence. As I told Iran once before, make a deal. They didn't, and there was Operation Midnight Hammer, a major destruction of Iran. The next attack will be far worse. Don't make that happen again. Thank you for your attention in this matter. President Donald J. Trump. What sayeth you, LW?
I'll let Jeff go
Jeff-
first because
Jeff B?
this is what I've been waiting for.
Okay.
Okay. So while I'm regurgitating, if Tammy, if you want to look on Trump's True Social and see if he has posted anything within the last hour about we have a IRGC spy that has told the US military where the Ayatollah is at. Because I was informed probably about 2 hours ago that they know exactly where he's at,
Wow.
and they kind of have him boxed in. And you know all the I mean just think of, you know, us going in and getting Maduro, even though I think some of that was kind of, I don't want to say staged as in fake. I think it was staged in order for Maduro to get out before he got offed by some of his people that are making a lot of money off of those machines. But I believe that we're more than likely we're going to hit Iran, and when we hit them, it's going to be the IRGC. Uh, we got so many vessels either on station or soon to be on station, and I think it's right now. I think it's like $7.8 million a day for a carrier battle group to be in the drink and underway. So um, I believe that once we get certain groups into position, uh, they're going to take that regime out, and put hopefully the king's son, Shalabi, he'll because we made a big promise to him,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you know if we're going to do this, we got to do it right and do it the first time, and hope that the Iranian people themselves appreciate that what we're doing.
Right. Real quick, I want to thank a Patriot girl who sent us 3 coffees, and she said, "Enjoy. Thank you for all you do. All of you are the best." That's very sweet. Thank you for your support, Patriot girl. We sure do appreciate it. And before LW gets going on his little thing that he's been waiting for, this whole thing, when Trump said, there's the board of peace, and he has these people that are joining the port of peace. He wants he wants peace across the world and stuff. Sometimes you do have to do what has been going on to get that. You can't, if people don't want to negotiate, come to the table and talk and settle it peacefully, unless they're forced to, in a way. I can understand some of it, but I know a lot of people are making a big deal out of all these scurries that we're getting into outside the country. I don't necessarily like them either. He has helped with 8 wars, he said, abolish them and get rid of them. But with Iran, I think that's a big one. The Middle East and over there's always been a problem, and that one really scares me. But that's all I want to say about that. I'll let LW go ahead and see what he has to say about.
Okay, so again, I'm going to keep saying this for everybody in chat, everybody who's listening. If we all think the same, then somebody's not thinking. And that's from General George Patton. And I truly believe that if we're all of the same mindset, we're all thinking the same way, and we're all following what we're being told, then somebody's not thinking. So I try to think outside the box. I'm definitely thinking with a different perspective. So anytime we're involved in a regime change, I think that's very dangerous. And we all know the great CIA is always involved in regime changes, and it's not always, in my opinion, the best of for the globe. To be honest with you, it always has America's interest involved in it, which is not a horrible thing. But what is our interest, and what are we wanting from the situation? So with that being said, when it comes to Iran and it comes to Venezuela, man, I tell you what, I brought this up at the very beginning of the show. There's people out there with way bigger social platforms than I, and bigger than LWN, that are starting, and I'm just sharing this with everybody tonight so that you guys see a different perspective. They're losing faith in this administration, and they are not happy with us getting involved at all with anything to do with Iran. Now, is it necessary for America and for this administration to keep us safe? Very possible. And I don't disagree with that. But what I wanted to bring up tonight was these platforms and these other people. And I even watched a video earlier this week with Glenn Beck. And Glenn Beck is definitely one of my favorites. I think he's very logical. And I think he's got a good base for historic information to share with people. So I listen to him quite often. And I saw a video this week where he was invited to the White House and he got to go spend some time with Donald Trump and Melania. And honestly, being the skeptic I am and trying to look through a different lens, I feel like, because I've been listening to Glenn Beck for a while now, and he was really beating up on Trump and the administration, and he was starting to say things that didn't align with this administration. And it's only speculation on my part, and it's only my perspective, but I feel like he got invited to the White House to cool the jets. If you know what I mean, Tammy and Jeff, I feel like he got invited to the White House to kind of cool him off from what he was putting out there. But there's other social platforms out there, big voices, bigger than me, that are not getting behind this administration and getting involved in Iran, and the Ukraine war is still going on, and a lot of people calling this administration out and holding their feet to the carpet, and holding them accountable, because we were told vote me back in and I'll kill the war in Ukraine day one. Boom, done. Hasn't happened yet. So again, I'm not a hater. I'm just trying to bring a different perspective to all you people listening tonight. Because again, if we're all thinking the same, then somebody's not thinking, and that's not going to be me. I'm trying to look outside of the fog and outside of the norm and everybody who's bought into all this stuff and say, okay, look at this stuff. Why are these other people putting this out? Why did Glenn Beck get invited to the White House? Because he's a big time Trump supporter. I get that, but he was also putting out some stuff in the last, I'm going to say, 3 to 6 months that was not good for the MAGA um, movement. And so I feel like maybe he got invited there to kind of say, hey, dude, come in here, put my arm around you, cool your jets, don't be so harsh on this shit, like fall in line type of shit. Just my opinion, and I had to get that out tonight.
Very good, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what
Jeff, you
Mike said.
said this. You've said this. You said, "Hey, listen, he's got 6 months from the
Yep.
time he took office again, and if this shit doesn't happen in 6 months, then he should be brought up on charges of treason." Here we are, a year after he took office. It's still not
Yeah.
happening. That goalpost has now been pushed back to midterms. So what happens if we lose midterms and nothing's happened at midterms? And of course, everybody's saying, "Oh, the 4th of July, this other thing's going to happen." Again, we keep pushing that goalpost back. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm very, very concerned.
Well, I think a lot, like I said, this goes back to the messaging coming out of the White House. I think they really need to get somebody. I have my theory on why Glenn Beck was brought to the White House. I do believe they want him to calm down a little bit, but I also believe that he was shown some stuff to kind of put his mind at ease. Um, I mean, this. I think the
You're
snowball.
talking about Glenn Beck, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So you kind of. I'm not saying you agree with me, Jeff, but you see a little bit of what I'm seeing.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that Trump definitely worries about his image. There's no doubt about that. And you can't have all these people that supported you out there bashing you. And I get it. And I get they're frustrated. And, I can't wait till Bongino comes back just to hear the filtered version of what he's experienced. But I'm a firm believer that when this goes down, and I think with this indictment with Fulton County, uh, with the Board of Elections, that with that Campbellton Road Processing and Hub Center,
Yeah.
uh, they I think when we see this, um, we're going to see a lot of people all at once in cuffs, because that's how the marshals and the Bureau like to do it so no one can sit there and call each other. That's my hope. But you know, uh, Trump needs to produce. So, or if Pam Bondi can't produce, then her ass has to go.
Why hasn't she gone yet? Trump keeps talking about how good she is and how she's doing a great job. I mean, is that to save face or what? Because my theory is, I think the president really, he's hit his whole life. You go back to all the interviews, the man has always talked about loving America and doing best for America, and that he probably wouldn't ever run for president. Here he is 2/3 terms later, really, if we're being honest. But I don't think he's changed anything from when those young interviews happened and his ideals of what America could be. He's really trying to enforce that, but you got to remember he's also got people around him that I don't think are that great, that are telling him the truth. And you got to imagine the amount of work and information that comes at them every day. And you've got people in there in the administration that are not loyal, that are backstabbing them. So, I mean, he can't take all the heat, but he certainly needs help. He needs people that stand up. I mean, you got Dan Bongino out there too, coming back. And I agree with you, Jeff. I'm excited to see what he has to say, but I'm going to hold back some of the excitement because some are saying he was only supposed to be in there a year anyways, but him blocking people and him acting like, all puff chested and all this kind of stuff, like, don't mess with me and don't ask me these questions, and doesn't want to communicate to we the people. There's something wrong there. There's something shady there.
Well,
your guys' audio is pretty bad. I had to hop out and hop back in. And just so the two of you know, I don't know if mine is bad right now, but the audio is really bad on both your guys' end. Let me ask chat this. I'm going to ask you guys this question because I saw some comments. LW, the static is on your phone. Okay, well, I don't know, but I'm hearing it pretty bad. So I saw some comments. Do you guys, when it comes to Glenn Beck, anybody that watches or listens to Glenn Beck, and have you guys seen the interview that he did with Donald Trump and going to the White House? Are you guys feeling the same way that I'm feeling? Like maybe he was invited there for a reason to kind of, hey, buddy, I can't have you putting a lot of this information out and really picking on me right now, like almost just kind of, I don't know. That's how I see it. So that's my first question to chat tonight. It's unfortunate that we're feeling this way, but here's the other thing. These other platforms and these other people, they are I'm serious. They are definitely upset with the direction that this country's going right now, and they're pulling their support. And I'm concerned about that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's true. I just think that there's a lot to be concerned about because not everybody's on the up and up. Things aren't going too well the way we would want them to go with the transparency and everybody being on the same page. We thought this MAGA movement and everything, everybody be on the same page. We'd be taking care of stuff. And it just seems like they're spread apart. People are breaking apart. Maybe that's what they want.
yeah,
What do you think, Jeff?
and I know some people are going to think I'm crazy with this, but and I'm a firm believer that sometime from the night of J6 to the night of the election, I'm a firm believer Trump already invoked the Insurrection Act.
What?
And
wow.
I think everything, if we're in a continuity of government status, there is a leader within the military hierarchy that acts as the commander in chief. Normally, that would be the chairman of the Joint Chief, or if he opts out and elects somebody to do that role. I believe that they consult with Donald Trump, but ultimately, if the Insurrection Act was invoked and if we are in continuity of government, Donald Trump doesn't have the say until the military comes back and announces that the insurrection has been squashed. And then the military turns it back over to civilian leadership. And is this where Trump gets, his, I'm going to run another term? Um, because now, as we're talking, I got a text message that in Wisconsin, is it Wisconsin?
Wisconsin?
Uh, the FBI just picked up the U.S. Postal Service contractor head
Wow.
because they were able to link trucks full of ballots that didn't make it to the election center. So
What?
I
So
think this is going to snowball.
okay, so that's dang it, Jeff. I that's what I would love to happen. I want to see have so many handcuffs that we hear that sound and we just can't get enough of that sound. And it's a marvelous, wonderful thing. And I know those of you watching and listening now, you feel the same way. Because justice has taken so long. But if everything that we are talking about and we've been talking about, you look at the length and the amount of corruption that has been exposed, there is a process to follow. We don't know everything. We don't know everything. But I do believe that there has been disinformation, Jeff, on both sides. I do believe people say psyops, but I do believe we've always had that from both sides. We
Correct.
have a tendency to cling on to what we want to hear, what we want to see, what we want to know. But really, with this happening in Fulton County today, and with this extremism in Minneapolis, to me, it opened my eyes to how bad things can really, really be and get and have been that we didn't pay attention to or didn't know. And
Right.
how could it all be exposed, Jeff, and nothing come of it?
Well, it can't. It can't. Or you were going to have individuals like us three and probably 95% of your audience that are going to be absolutely fucking livid. Because now, if you have these congressional members that are openly committing fraud and everybody knows it, so what happens the next time somebody commits fraud, banking fraud, wire fraud? What are you going to do? Go to the court and say, "Well, I want to use the Ileana Omar defense." You can't touch me. Hey, justice is supposed to be blind. Well, apparently in this case, it's not. But everybody, um, you see all this stuff going on, and nothing makes any sense. And people have to remember that when Trump fired his Secretary of Defense and he put in Chris Miller as the acting Secretary of Defense, and Chris Miller sent a request to Trump to authorize the Special Operations Command to use psychological warfare. And Trump wrote that in an executive order, the authorization for psychological warfare in synthetic rubber mask. Is this the psychological warfare that we're going not only to keep us confused, but to keep all these other idiots who have committed treason and sedition against the country? And like I said, with this, this was not on my 2026 bingo card. Fulton County was nowhere on it. This, this took me by surprise. And now with this UP or the U.S. Postal Service contractor talking about they were told not to move these vehicles to a different location, and he just come out because he probably just seen the writing on the wall with Fulton County saying, "Oh shit, let me get ahead of this."
Well, think about this. We've had all this information for a long time. Everybody laughed at Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, even Sidney Powell, all of them from way back when they were putting that out. And I said, I watched when they went from city to city, state to state, presenting the evidence that was just shut down. We know the evidence was there, and we were laughed at. And I agree with a couple of the comments in here saying it isn't really left and right politics. It is about bipartisanism. It is, we all kind of want the same thing, but this is the problem. They don't allow us that. They want us to not get along. Then there's policies that, each side wants, and they don't negotiate very well because they just passed another damn bill in the House not that long ago that gave tons more money to Israel and it was gender identity surgery or something. I thought we were done with all that shit. USAID, I thought we were done with. There was something signed with that as well. So that refuels that dang fire again.
Right.
It's like all these politicians, whether you're on the left or right, know what we want as American citizens and what we don't want. Let's put aside the people that are paid to do this so-called protesting, which we know they are being paid by Soros. He has all along. That there's different websites you go to that you fill out the forms to be able to do it. That isn't free thinking. That is people causing problems, being paid to cause problems. Where are all the free thinking people that really want the unity speaking up? I'll tell you what, Charlie Kirk was one of them, and look what happened.
Yeah, and and I think where you're going, to see this whole Fulton County and that start to work Congress, and Congress is going to get really sketchy, is Congress had a duty. The vice president, which is the president of the Senate at the time, Mike Pence, had a duty to the country to send that shit back to the states if there was any question on the election. And you have to remember, Trump has that damn executive order that's still in play that said if one vote was illegally cast, the whole 2020 is null and void. And that was argued in front of the Supreme Court, and you can look it up on the docket that it was. They don't put the opinion up there, but it was on the docket.
Right. And we forget. I keep saying we forget because, Jeff, there is so much to keep track of day in and day out. So that is why it's so good for us to get together, have a show, listen to people, get the information. Everybody has good information and share it with one another, because it's impossible to be able to keep track of every single thing. If you go on a deep dive with things, it'll take you forever just to get to the bottom of one thing. And that's hard to do as one human being. We just get a small sample of what the president's going through. And I'm going to say a couple things here real quick. Number one, LW had to drop out because of his the audio and stuff with his phone, but he wanted us to respond to this. I did put this message up, Jeff, but we didn't respond to it. And this was from a listener, a viewer, that said, frankly, I think MAGA has been conditioned to hate leftists, but they have much in common with leftists like myself. We just want better for our country and no establishment. So we did talk a little bit about it, but I agree with this 100%. We all behave on the way of the things that we're told that affect us emotionally. So that is why, and I'm just going to say this, you do your research, you try to have an open mind and say, is this better for our country, for we, the people living in this country, or is it not? I don't care who had said it. They had different people, individual people go on the streets, podcasters, and they would say a statement and they say, who do you think said this? Was it President Trump? Was it President Biden at the time? And 9 times out of 10, Jeff, you've probably saw these people got it wrong. So
Correct.
we do lack a lot of the accurate information. We hear things, little snippets, and it appeals to us, and then we keep it. So what do you say about this person that says MAGA's been conditioned to hate leftists?
Well, and I think that goes back to the messaging. From I get tired of seeing on YouTube and all social media, you know, talking, oh, mega, you guys are brainwashed, yada yada. Okay, the way I look at it is mega is make America great again.
Yes.
Everybody, everybody in this country should want that. Um, I don't put my loyals in a man, especially a politician. And, in Trump's case, I often think of why the hell would you leave that lifestyle that you had to become president? You know, is it ego? Well, you already had a huge ego, anyways.
Jeff, don't you think you have to have an ego in a sense to
Sure,
do what he does?
absolutely, you have to. For you to have that much wealth, you have to have some sort of ego. You have to, you have to have some sort of killer instinct. But you know, I'm 52 and I'm getting ready to retire again for a second time, and I'm gonna let somebody handle the business aspect of my businesses, because I'm to the point where there's shit I want to do before I check out.
Right.
But you know eh, there has this is why I believe that Trump was asked. I believe that the military was looking because they seen that the country was being sold out. And with Republicans and Democrats, there's the phrase that there's more that unites us than divides us.
Mm-hmm.
What divides us right now is our media, both sides,
Yes.
because there's idiots on our side and there's a lot of idiots on the other side. The other side, we're seeing the idiots out there protesting. The hell, half of them don't even know what the hell they're protesting.
Yeah, when they ask them questions, they can't answer them.
Correct.
And that's what my problem has always been with the name calling or just giving a little statement of you're an idiot or you're so gullible or you guys are brainwashed. Those statements don't serve any purpose at all.
No.
They have no teeth to them. It's adolescent. You can't fix a country by making statement like that. You fix your country by being involved in having good, hard, tough conversations and sharing the different things. Now, LW sent this to me and he said he thinks that basically they're pushing us towards civil war. And the platforms he's talking about, and I said this before too, about Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's starting to say things like America only. And I had said, I think the slogan should be America always first. And this MAGA needs to go because it's been infiltrated and all this nastiness put us into it. Like people grabbed it and made it into a negative thing. But how can you make something negative by the country you live in by saying America always first or first always? Because whether you're left or right or in the middle, you want kind of the same things for your country. I think safety, a good job, and all the things that are simple that seem so complicated and tough to get anymore.
Yeah, but the problem with mega, the problem with America only, America first, is if Donald Trump attaches his name to it, it's the same thing. Because people, these people, uh, they call it what, Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
Uh, it's just mind blowing. Because if Trump wanted to be a dictator, he could be a dictator. Any of them could. Um, but if there wasn't a plan in place from the time that he came in 2016,
Mm-hmm.
then he's the stupidest person I know. Because come midterms, if he loses, which I'm a believer that either the midterms aren't going to happen or there's going to be a serious constitutional crisis. Because, number one, everybody knows that our um, voter rolls are so tainted right now. And this is what I think, is going to be part of this national emergency order that I was told was drafted and is ready to go as soon as whoever authorizes it to be released. Um, but it's so rough because people are just so divisive, anyways. And
Mm-hmm.
when it got really divisive is the invention of social media, because we weren't like this. I can remember when, I was a kid and, for Christmas, I got like an Apple IIe, and I thought it was when we first got the internet. I was like, oh my God, this is, and now I can't stand to be on the damn thing because it's so toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's how they got to our kids. I mean,
Right.
as well.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it was just it's just they don't know how to socialize and all the things that come along with the old-fashioned days of parents or grandparents, right? They go and they grab onto a famous YouTuber that they like or somebody on TikTok and they believe everything they say and they just get spoon-fed and they're not thinking. So that's a big problem, of course. So
Right.
I like in here that the people in here, we've got a lot of new people in here that have different ideas, a lot of people I haven't seen before. So welcome everyone. It's wonderful to have all these different views because that's what makes America great. We're having conversation. We aren't just telling you what to think and how to feel and spoon feeding you our way. That's been the issue for a very long time with our kids, and that does need to be corrected. And you're right. A lot of this digital stuff becomes very toxic. You look at the depression rates, the unaliving rates of these young children, and these
Yep.
evil, sick, twisted people that go into these forums and abuse kids and have them do these horrific things. That's some kind of evil that I never thought could exist, and it does. But go ahead.
Well, look at this. In Minnesota today, they had this teachers group that, was just out there gaslighting, talking about how their students are afraid that ICE is going to come in and look. The reason why they're afraid, because your asses aren't teaching them reading, writing, and arithmetic. You're bringing your political bullshit values into a school system that shouldn't be there.
Exactly. And a lot of these teachers have been called out on it, the things that they've done to these students that they've had. And
Right.
it's not good stuff. Teaching is about teaching, and that is it. I got this one more subject that I want to talk about real quick here that United We Stand brought up. I think it's a very important point, and then we can go into if there's anything else you want to say or our final thoughts, depending. But this is very important, and I agree with this. We have a single united issue, which is COVID crimes and crimes against humanity funded by our government against all of us. Why don't we see every American demanding justice? We all lost family and friends. Amen to that. And that is true. And that is something, Jeff, that went to the wayside. That is something that not one person is in custody. This is something that's not talked about before, but I agree. Left, right, no matter how you think or how you thought, we all lost people. We
Right.
all got affected by it some way, shape, or form. Why isn't somebody talking about this, bringing these people to issue because it's been pushed aside? What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's uh, yeah, and it goes, I believe, to the whole messaging. They have to, uh, yeah, America. The American people need a swift kick in the ass. The American people need, uh, a real hardcore dose of reality. They really do.
Mm,
It too, because most people don't appreciate all the freedoms that they have here.
I don't
You
think
know,
the younger generation does
now,
at all, Jeff.
no, look, I've been to some shitholes throughout the world, and I've been to some places that I'll probably never get to talk about. but they have no idea how easy we got it. And, we all, you know, take, I don't want to say take advantage of it, but we all take it for granted of what we have because I guess you don't know what you have until they yank it from you.
Why do we got to always learn the hard way, though? Why can't we see the other side of it, even if it isn't for us, for our children, our nieces, our nephews, our younger generation in general? Like, where is the fight in people in the right way instead of going to channel or person to person or on TikTok and just giving out these BS kind of statements that serve no purpose? Why not be a leader of your generation? Why not make a difference? Because we are the people that have the power. We don't use it in the right way. The government gives us $1,000 here and we're all happy and we do what they want us to do. Some people, right? That's how these officials get some people to vote for them. Or you're told a certain thing on a media platform and you buy into it and you just think, okay, I've done my due justice. No, you have to get in the field and you have to really educate yourself to know how to move forward, to how to fight the right way.
Right, right. Yeah. And I think a lot of that, with this younger generation is parents never parented. When I was growing up, shit, my brothers and sisters, we constantly got our ass beat. But,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and, if we got in trouble in school, we got our ass beat in school and then we got it beat when we got home. But now you do
Yeah.
that and shit, you're in jail.
Yeah, exactly. They can call the cops on you. And this is
Right.
another good point too. Yes, united we stand. It's not a political party issue, it's a human issue. So if we
Yep.
focus on those more, maybe that will definitely help and something will change. Well, Jeff, I think that's it for the show, unless there's something you want to add that we weren't able to get to as of yet.
No, I think we're good. Hopefully, Mike gets to leave the communist state of Vermont and he doesn't become a Bernie Sanders puppet.
I know, you never know. I mean, it's just kind of wild to think of him on the East Coast.
Yeah,
He's a mountain man. He's never been over there. So, like I said, with that storm coming, he said he's moving out or they're heading out. So hopefully they'll miss it. But yeah, definitely we'll keep everybody in the thoughts and prayers for the storm coming up again, and those that are still recovering, because I know a lot of people weren't able probably to be here. I know we have a lot of listeners and viewers in Texas and Tennessee, and they got hit pretty hard. So God bless all of them.
yeah.
So Jeff, why don't you give us your final thought then, my friend?
Well, my final thought is if you own stock in a burqa company or a hijab company, make sure you sell it before it's too late.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm glad that LW was able to join us as well. And I'll be in touch for whenever I can go live again. And it'd be great to have you. So have a great rest of your
Uh,
night.
yep, and we'll have some of the new shirts up by tomorrow afternoon.
Awesome. So be on the lookout for that, you guys, in our Facebook page, on our Facebook page.
All
Okay.
right.
Good
Have a
night,
good
Jeff.
evening. Bye,
Thanks.
guys.
Yeah. So thank you everybody again for joining us tonight. It was a nice surprise that LW was able to join us for most of the night as well. All of you in the comments, thank you so much in chat that were chatting and giving us information and your opinion. I think it was really amazing and so fun. Welcome to all the new people. We're glad to have you here. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe the channel for us to get us out there. We do appreciate it. For those of you that have been here all along, we appreciate you as well. Thank you so very much. It was good to be back in the seat again to see you guys. And also for the mods, what a great job you did tonight with all the new people, making them feel welcome and letting them have their say. That's what this channel is all about. We don't want to dictate. We want to just be able to have people have their say and have good conversation. And I think we accomplished that very well tonight, you guys. So I don't know when I'll be back again, but I will post it when I do. LW's still out for a while, but he was able to join us tonight. So you never know. But I will definitely post it if we're going to go go live again anytime soon. Thanks again, once again, for the prayers and everything for me and my family. I sure do appreciate it. So with that being said, take care. God bless. We love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.